Hi, it's Rachel with Stirring the Deep. We are at the moment, I believe, and what I feel like I'm truly experiencing is where that seed, the mustard seed that's been planted within, that seed is starting to open. And what flows out of that is that's the new creation being formed in you. That is the tree of life growing up within you. That's the kingdom of heaven starting within you as a mustard seed and growing. And what's been happening over these last years certainly is the preparation for that to take place. So there's these different analogies used to describe this process. Okay, and one is that marriage union and having that child, that life, that child of Christ, actually Christ coming alive in you, and it feels like a new birth within you. And that's what I was explaining about the birth pain. So those that came to the wedding were called to the wedding, came to the wedding, prepared, had the right garments, put it on the new wineskins that was able to hold a spirit of Christ, which can expand for eternity, like they're the ever expanding wineskins, where our old wineskins couldn't do that. They were stuck, they were like a grave, they were a tomb. This was a grave. And it was this stone that our soul deep down was trapped in. Okay, and that was the prison. It was a darkness that consumed us. But it's breaking out of all that. Okay, but the idea is that we came to the wedding, we put on the garments, had the new wineskin so we could hold that spirit. And also what was happening at that time at that wedding is that you start having the fusion of truth and love. So those that had the oil of truth, that had the lamps with the oil in it given to them by the Holy Spirit, so had been taught all these truths, they were able to receive and understand the love that Christ was bringing in that marriage union. So they had the truth, he brought in the love, and this is happening within you. And so if you had that truth, you were able to receive that, because that truth purifies you, it sanctifies you. And the Son's love requires such holiness and honor and oneness, where you're willing to forsake all to him, to have that union with him, to basically have the seed of the divine spirit within you that grows up into all eternity. And so those who became, and I talked about the importance of desire, where you desire only God to consume all of you, and to truly desire that, to have nothing of any attachment to this world. And that's what a bride does for a groom. She forsakes all others and gives herself fully to him. And that's those that were truly desiring that. So you come to that point where you desire his love so greatly, because that's the only way that you can love others. That's the only way you can truly love God back, is to have that love within you. It's like, so you're being unified to the Son that makes you a child of the Father. So for those that happened, that's what they felt, was that the unifying of the love and the truth. What that also felt like was, as a woman, when she's giving birth, the child comes through the birth canal, and in that is this great pressure, right? And then the child comes forth. And that's what we have felt, especially in these last months of this year, is a great purging and pressure. It's like nothing that isn't of God, he's just removing all these things. It's like he's just squeezing everything that's not of him out. And you felt that, but every time you felt that refinement, what you felt was more love. It felt increased love. Every time you let go of something, love came in its place. So the cruelty was being cast out, the hypocrisy was being cast out, and so you just felt growing and growing love, because that's that union happening. Once that union is made, which is also that child coming through that birth canal, what you come into is a new life, is into the air, is you're becoming this new creation. And that's where that seed was formed, the love and truth, and now it's opening up in power and growing. That's the tree of life growing. That's the kingdom of heaven growing within you. And when life starts growing within you, you come to a place of rest. It's like this huge sigh of relief. You know that Spirit is within you and growing, and it takes over. It's in charge. It's Lord, it's King, it's sovereign in you. And anything that's of the flesh, it just starts melting away. It doesn't matter. And that's the other thing about being prepared, is that you've let go so much of this world that any last remnants they just start falling away. Because your sole desire is for that precious pearl that you would sell all for, that mustard seed. And so that is like a woman, when she gives that birth, there is that release, and there is that relief, and there is a rest after all the work that she's been through. And this is entering into also the start of that true eternal Sabbath rest, because when that life is in you and you feel it, you just rest, because you know that God is in total control. You are united to the Son. The Son is now governing you, and you are in the inheritance of the Father. You're in His kingdom. It's done. It's finished. So now what happens is that Spirit, that life, just starts bubbling up within you, and you feel it, and it just starts consuming everything, every thought, just more of your life. It's just taking directive. And meanwhile, your trust is just enhanced. You just let go, and you're trusting all to God and His perfect timing. Because what also came with that seed is faith. Have the faith of a mustard seed. That mustard seed is the seed of the kingdom of heaven within you. The seed of the divine Spirit within you, which is that union of love and truth to be manifested into your world. So what you also get is the faith that you need, because it's actually Christ's faith, because it's of that divine seed that you need to cross the gap between where you are in that death state and your lack of faith to abide fully in the kingdom of heaven. That faith, Christ is the author and perfecter of our faith. So that seed also gives us the faith. It gives us the life. It gives us the faith. It is everything. And so you feel this complete rest in all of your life. You feel this life growing in you. And as that grows, you feel it so much in you. So it's just changing your even more of just how you view life and where your focus is. And it starts to feel so much that it goes to overflowing. And so that's when it moves out from with all this happening within you, and it starts to overflow into your countenance, into your surroundings and the world around you, into others around you. That's that river. That's the living waters flowing up. It's that fount. Because now you're connected to the Son. It's like in that union, you constantly have that fount of living waters flowing from you. And that's when in Hosea, he says that, in verse 6, in chapter 14, his branches shall spread, his beauty shall be like an olive tree, and his fragrance like Lebanon. Those who dwell under his shadow shall return. And that's, remember I was talking about the few that are chosen now at Christ's return are going to be the light on which other people will be drawn to in order to come into the light. It's each one coming to Christ in his own order, the first ones. And that's what that experience is like. It's coming from within and flowing without, that river of life. But these are how you know when that life has started to sprout within you, is that you feel this release, you feel this rest. And that's the thing about having that truth and love, is that you have learned to trust God. So many people don't really trust God. But if you have learned all of what that means and letting go and learning his ways so that you can really walk and operate in the wisdom of his ways, then as that life comes, that last surrender and fully just letting go to let that river take you wherever it wants to go. You're now in the will of the Father, and you totally trust that. But that comes from knowing him. The only way you can trust him is fully knowing him. You got to know the right one. And I'll dive into a little bit of that in my next video. Until next time, keep stirring the deep. It's the one thing that changes everything else.